Start it up. Welcome back to the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness, Season 3, Episode 8. This is going to be a fucking real serious one,
We've been talking about it.
Because if you've been watching, you know, I've been saying Doge to the fucking moon. I've been saying a couple fucking things, and I don't even really know.
Safe moon.
So yeah, okay, now it's Safe Moon. Shout out Dave Portnoy for hopping in on that. That's my guy. But I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about straight up when it comes to crypto. So
we have to get an expert on here.
Yeah.
Very unorthodox the way we got this guest.
Yes.
Threw up a story, said, yo, we need a fucking crypto expert right now. I actually got this guest from a few people, not just yourself. But very excited to have you on. Before we get into it, we just hit 300 subscribers.
Yes.
Shout out everyone showing love to the podcast.
Yes, sir.
We are also going to the moon. So
MBH to the moon.
MBH to the moon. MBH to the moon. With no further ado.
Yes.
Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you very much.
AKA King Dicker.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
I was waiting for
yeah.
to say that.
How are you, man? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you guys doing today? I'm very excited to be here.
Pumped, bro. Pumped to have you, man. And I think a lot of people are going to have to tune into this one if they're trying to go to the moon with us, yeah?
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's obviously crypto is, you know, it's taking over right now. It's super fucking hype. So, you know, we have to get a real expert on because I can't just keep screaming Doge to the moon. You know what I mean? It's not enough. So, welcome to the show, man. Maybe just introduce yourself, a little bit about what you do, and we can get into it from there.
So, as far as crypto goes, I've been trading for a little while. I actually got into it from a buddy of mine, and I was pretty fascinated by it. I felt as though like this had a real genuine opportunity to be kind of the future of our currency or the way that we transact, right? Because you have currencies where I could send $10 million across the world for 20 cents, and it can be done like in the snap of your fingers, right?
Crazy.
So right now you want to send a wire of $10 million across the world, it's got to go through like 28 days worth of like, it's got to be sent from this guy to this guy, and he has to verify, and then all those sorts of other different things. Cost you a fair bit of money. It may cost you as much as 5% to send that money across the world. So to have a way to do it instantaneously and for so cheap is unprecedented, right? It's completely different. It's something we've never seen before.
For sure.
So that instantly got me interested, and I thought if this is something that's going to be the future of the way we transact, like I want to be in on it, and I'm willing to take the risk, because ultimately anything's a risk, right? Wherever you put your money, it's a risk. And I was willing to take that risk, and as a student, I was like, listen, I'm in a forgivable period of my life, right? Yeah. If I mess up with this money, like whatever, I'll make more money, right? But if I miss this opportunity, then there's not going to be this other opportunity again, right? So if I miss, I miss, and I'll shoot my shot, right? So
when did this first start? When did you first get introduced to it?
It would have been so I was first introduced to it about 4 or 5 years ago, and then I was like, this is just for like drug addicts, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, who uses this stuff, right? I would never, right? And then like I started to realize that like as institutional investing and as people start getting interested across the world, I'm like, you know what, there may actually be some merit to this, because crypto originally started with like the with the online trade of illicit services, right? So it kind of had that stigma surrounding it, and people were like, I don't want to get involved in this stuff, like I don't want anything to do with drugs, I don't want to get involved with weapons trades and stuff like that. But as it progressed and there were new developments on the technology, it became more viable for transacting in everyday currencies, right? Like I can send you crypto right now probably before you get an e-transfer from me. So those types of things are what got me ultimately interested in the crypto space.
Which a lot of people don't even know that deep about it. They just see the hype, right?
Bro, Doge. They just like Doge, see a dog, and they're like, all right, here we are. So okay, so you're saying roughly 4 or 5 years ago, at that point you dove in. Were you doing something else too, like, or were you like, I'm diving right into this and I'm taking this like?
So I didn't really get into it at that point, but then I had a buddy who initially interested me, and I was like, okay, or I'll give it a shot. Like he basically begged me. He's like, you're missing out. Like you're gonna mess this up terribly. Like this is a huge opportunity for you. And I'm like, you know what? I got some extra money right now. Like whatever, I'll throw it at it. And then I saw gains, and like almost like a gambling addict, I'm like, I really love these gains, so I'm gonna keep playing this game, right? And I'm pretty neurotic and I get very anxious easily. So when I'm like, I'm putting my money into this thing, I need to know everything about it. I need to like compulsively research it. I need to know what's going on. What's my money doing? How's it getting where? And how does this work? So that's when I spent a lot of time researching it. I'm actually a full-time teacher, so it isn't like I'm sitting there watching charts every day, as you kind of like imagine someone who trades crypto to do. My strategy is more of like a long-term investment in crypto, because The way I do things is I'll look at a project and I'll investigate it through my own different ways and however we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And if I see a future potential in this project, then it's something that I choose to invest my money in. And I don't care if it goes down 7% the day after I put in. Obviously, that's unfortunate. I don't care if it goes up 7%. If I'm in it for the long term and I see that it solves like a real world problem, then I'll leave my money in there, right? And I'll buy it. Like, for example, one that I recently purchased was called Labs. And the idea behind it, ultimately, it didn't do so well, but after launch, it did well, and then it kind of came back down to earth because the development team didn't do a good job. But ultimately, the idea was fractional investing in real estate. So using those tokens, you can buy real estate. And I'm like, this is like people that have like maybe $500 to $1,000. There's a huge barrier to investing in real estate, but this could solve that problem.
Wow.
Right. So I'm like, if this project is ultimately successful, which it had a pretty good team behind it, then I'm going to go ahead and invest my money in it because I think it's going to be successful. Yeah. And therefore, I don't care if the price, if I buy it at $10 a coin, right, let's say, I don't care if it goes down to $9. I don't care if it goes up to $11. If I think it's going to be successful and it's going to go to $40, I don't care about that $1 in between. Like, I don't really care. Right. That's why people always ask me, is now a good time to buy Ethereum? It's like 3,300 today. Yesterday was 3,400. And I'm like, if it's going to 10,000, do you care about that $100? Like, what do you care?
I think that's the difference. Yeah, you raise a good point, man, because of how much hype it has gotten in the last, I'd say, 6 months to a year. If people are just like, I need to get in, I need to fucking see 100x, I need to pull my money out right away, right? Yeah. Where I feel like people who are more educated, like yourself, in this world, you guys are all looking long term. Right?
So you're looking at the utility of the coins.
Yeah, I mean, like anyone can build a token. So right now there's a huge hype between. So the Binance Smart Chain is a network on Binance's network, right? So anybody can make a token on the Binance Smart Chain network. You and I can make a token. We could start selling it. It doesn't really matter, right? Yeah. So these tokens don't really have real utility, and that's where the term rug pull comes in, right? So the way it works is you contribute liquidity. So let's say I have one BNB and I put it up against another my token. Let's say I'm going to call my token neighborhood token, right? Okay, cool. Put one BNB up against one neighborhood. And that means anytime someone buys one neighborhood, they leave me with one BNB, right? So my liquidity continues to increase as somebody buys my token, right? So the more they buy it, the more my liquidity is increased. But I can pull that liquidity. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. No.
I can pull that liquidity at any moment. Let's say let's say I put in $1,000 of original liquidity, but this token takes off. So many people buy it. And then I'm at 100,000 worth of liquidity. I'm looking at that. I'm like, I'm just going to pull this. I've made $100,000, right?
Yeah, like I'm out.
I don't care about any of you guys. I'm going to take this. There's no accountability. And everyone wants to get rich overnight, right? They see like Safe Moon or like Doge or like New Doge or Fat Doge or whatever. Right? Shibu. And they're like, oh man, like I'm going to make 1,000 X, right?
This is the one. Yeah.
Or they'll see something like it's gone up 8,000% in like the past 24 hours. And they're like, well, it's gone up 8,000%. It's never going to stop going up. Like it's for sure like the best investment of my life, right?
Until that rug gets pulled, essentially.
Not all of them do get rug pulled, but like a significant percentage of them do. And then the problem with when you pull liquidity is nobody can sell anymore, right? Because there's no liquidity to sell into. And that's why these decentralized exchanges, so it's called a decentralized exchange. The way you would buy one of these is PancakeSwap or Uniswap. The way that you would buy these is through a decentralized exchange, and they're called that because there's no exchange of Canadian USD or any sort of like fiat currency, which is like currencies issued by government, right? You're only using currencies that are cryptocurrencies,
using
right?
BNB or Ethereum or...
That's the fundamental difference between like a decentralized exchange and a centralized exchange.
Cool.
So a centralized exchange,
using real money.
Yeah, like for example, in Canada we have ShakePay, which is my preferred one that I would use. We have Binance. You can even deposit CAD with. They're centralized in the sense that you can use fiat currency issued by your government to buy crypto, right? Okay. The decentralized exchange, anybody can list a token, right? Anybody can pull their liquidity, but the way a decentralized exchange works is because we're not actually trading. It's not like I'm going to you and being like, hey, I'm going to sell you one BNB for like one PancakeSwap token, right? Yeah. What's happening is I'm contributing liquidity so that anybody can ever come around and be like, hey, I'm going to buy off that liquidity. It doesn't matter if there's someone on the other side of that transaction. There's just a pool. I take what I want from the pool and I leave what I don't want in the pool. Wow. And that's the way these things work. Yeah.
Okay, I know. Wow, that's fucking crazy. See, I'm on fucking pancakes. I'm fucking
about to sign in on Binance right now. I'm about to go on.
I'm fucking swapping pancakes left, right, and center. Like, but what I want to talk about and I want to get a little more into before we get into like the real shit is I want to talk more about the shit, quote unquote, shit coins. Yeah. And I want to talk about how kind of what I've been seeing, and I want to see your opinion on it, is a lot of these shit coins, if you look at who's backing them or you know the dev team, essentially, whatever, it's just like people in marketing, people who know how to build hype, right? Yeah. And then they're kind of trying to find a purpose for it, like a use case for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So talk to me more about that. I'm curious to know your opinion on these shit coins, where you stand with them. Have you invested in any? Is it like a complete no-go for you? Like,
it's mostly a no-go for me because like I just don't want to take that risk of like me just like I get very angry if I get scammed. Like if I pump in like $500, $1,000, $5,000 and like it's stolen from me, I will become like irate. Like I'm just like irrationally angry about
the fuck is Elon Musk?
Yeah, exactly.
He's done.
Like, somebody owes me this money and I'm gonna get it. Right? Like it's just like it makes me very upset to feel as though I've been scammed. And like I would say I'd honestly hazard to guess that most of these are scams because everybody wants to get in on this hype, right? Everyone wants to make their Binance Smart Chain token because it's minimal cost to do these things, right? Like you can very easily do it. You can very easily set one up. What do we need? Like a Telegram page. I pay a YouTuber $500 to $1,000. Start like saying it's going to be the next best thing. They have big followers, and a lot of the time you'll see YouTubers or influencers or TikTokers or whatever it may be pumping these things, and like sometimes they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't care. They don't know anything about how anything works.
You can tell they just got a check and they're posting it up.
And I guess it's kind of fucked up. There's no like ethics behind that.
No, there's
right?
no ethics, right? Because like, and if I understand, like I wouldn't do it, but I understand if I'm someone who has a large following, if I've got 200 to 300,000 followers, and someone comes to me and is like, hey, I'll give you $5,000 to pump this token and say it's going to be the next best thing to your audience. Like, get it, take the money, right? You've worked hard to build up this following, but it sucks, right?
It's up to the audience, I guess, to do their
do your due diligence, right? Like, and a red flag in these types of projects is like if they don't list the development team, like if they don't post a name and a picture, like, or they're just saying the dev team is working on it. Like, who's the dev team? Show me their LinkedIn. Show me their accreditations, right? Like, show me a successful project they've worked on before, right? Like, anybody can make a token. Anybody could be a dev team, right? It doesn't take much effort or work. You just have to like pay to mint the token. The token's minted, listed as liquidity, and you're done.
Yeah, right? I think I was showing him. I'm like, dude, like I saw this on fucking TikTok because that's where I see everything. But I just like, it's like a website. You just hop on this like website, whatever. You just like put in your token name, whatever. How many fucking digit numeral fucking whatever you're gonna have, and that's it. Like, and it's fucking exactly. You pay to get it minted, and it's like that's it. You have a cryptocurrency.
Is there certain things that you would say to kind of keep an eye out for if you are investing in these shit coins? Okay. That there might be a possible rug pull, pump and dump. Obviously, the dev team is a huge one. Like I even kind of understood that part at the beginning. But is there anything else someone should be kind of wary about?
So if I'm looking at that, I'm looking at who's got the liquidity. Like, who is it locked? Because if the liquidity is locked, they can't pull it. Yeah. The other thing that you could be cautious about is even if they lock the liquidity, let's say the dev team has like I don't know, 70% of the supply of the tokens, they can sell into that liquidity and just take their own liquidity, if you know what I mean, right? So let's say we make a token and we list 5 BNB against our token. That 5 BNB then becomes 100 BNB, and our token is worth whatever that is. I can't do the math right now offhand, but it's worth that, whatever that amount is, X, so 20X, right? I think. We sell off all of our tokens, and then we just take that liquidity. So technically the liquidity is locked, but we just use the tokens to circumvent that lock, right? So there's very many different things that they can
get
do.
around that too.
Yeah, you want to see, but is somebody holding 30% of the tokens? Because if they are, they can just steal 30% of the wealth, right? If somebody's holding all the unlocked liquidity, they could just pull the liquidity. So my genuine advice, like if I'm giving advice, I wouldn't buy anything on PancakeSwap that isn't vetted by a team. Like for example, there's one that I just recently invested in, which is called Refinable.
Okay.
And that was first listed on PancakeSwap. It's invested in by Mr. Beast and Binance, and Binance is always tweeting at them and stuff. Basically, what it is NFTs, so non-fungible tokens on Binance's network, right? Nice. Which is huge. It's a huge buzz these days. They actually just launched yesterday, which is pretty cool. Tokens trading at like $1.50 USD right now, and the reason why I think it's going to be successful is because if you mint an NFT on the Ethereum network right now, it costs you like 100 USD, right? Yeah. Yes. But the Binance Smart Chain network is a lot cheaper. Yeah. It's like 20 cents USD for the average transaction. Yeah. So like you or I, or like the average person maybe doesn't want to spend $100 to mint an NFT, but I'd pay 20 cents to mint an NFT, right? No problem. All day I'll pay that, right? If I could upload 1 million pictures of my dog, I sell one and it's worth it, right? Who cares?
Okay, so let's talk about Doge, okay? And I want to get your opinion on it because I feel like it was a shit coin essentially.
It was listed originally as like a meme. Like it was literally to show that cryptocurrency people will buy anything. Like it was the ultimate clown on cryptocurrency. It's like basically saying you guys are stupid and you're gonna buy this because you're stupid, right? So and here we are buying it because we're talking about it too, right?
So then like how the fuck did they get to where they are now? You know what I mean? Like and what are your thoughts on that whole situation?
I think that there's gonna be a lot of bag holders on Doge. Like, I think if you buy in at Doge, whatever price you buy in at, you're taking a risk, right? Because that token's not worth anything. Like, if you look into like the tokenomics, which sounds like a made up word, but basically like how the token actually runs, how many of them are there, how does it work, how does it function, right? There's actually there's circulating supply, which is how many are circulating, how much are available for trade, purchase, or whatever right now, and then there's max supply. Max supply is how much will ever be created forever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Doge max supply is infinity. The developers of Doge have like unprecedented ability to just print as much Doge as they want, right?
Wow.
So
Interesting.
imagine investing in something that gives those people that much power. Granted, they've said, okay, we're going to take this very seriously. It's picked up traction from like people like Mark Cuban, Elon Musk, so we're not going to do crazy stuff like that. But like, I don't feel comfortable giving
They might
money.
do crazy
you
shit
trust
like
those guys? How the fuck do you know?
How do I know? I don't trust you. Like, I don't know you any more than I know like a celebrity. Like, celebrities do bad things. Like,
it's true.
right?
Yeah.
So if I buy Doge at 50 cents or whatever, right? Like, I'm ultimately taking the risk. Like, yeah, I can go up like another 10, 20, 100,000%, right? But that's based on no merit. Like, there's no real anything backing it. There's nothing like this is useful and people need this and it changes the world, other than it's funny, right?
Yeah.
So like, you just think of it from the perspective of like, if I invest in this and I lose money, like, did I make a smart choice? Not really. You just tried to like,
You're going for the gold here,
right? Like, you tried to become an overnight millionaire and you lost whatever 20-30% of your investment.
Yeah.
You deserve it, right? Like, you shouldn't have done that.
You should have knew. You should have knew.
Especially when you're coming in, you're buying Doge, maybe like $200-300. You got to remember, there's fucking people that 10 mil, 20 mil. They're the ones moving the market.
Right? Yeah. And they actually, it's funny because around the end of the month recently, they've been doing it on purpose. So they call them whales in the crypto world. Like, people have a ton of it.
Yes.
And what they do is recently, this is all like speculation, but there's some merit behind it, like on Twitter and these Telegram feeds or whatever, but they'll sell off large quantities and cause mass panic amongst like just retail investors like you or I, right? And we see it go down 20%. We're like, oh God, we there's a further slip, right? It goes down another 10-15% from the panicked retail investors. And then the institutions will buy off those dips, right?
Yeah.
So they panic us, they make the weak hand sell out. And if you've looked past months at Ethereum, right, like, you'll see Ethereum take a 15-30% hit or Bitcoin take a 15-30% hit, and then instantaneously it comes back to where it was, right?
Wow.
Because they're selling and they're creating artificial dips, and then they're buying off of those dips so they can continue to accumulate, right? Which makes me even more optimistic for the future, because if they're moving the market in that way so that they can accumulate more, I want to be on the side of the rich guys. I promise you that, right?
And
Even with Saturday Night Live, like that's what a lot of people were saying, right? Like, you could see every commercial break, it was just dipping.
Yeah.
And then a little bit back up, dipping, going back up, and everyone's like, this is just Elon just manipulating it right now. And people are selling off and then buying when it's low.
Exactly. You think about it from that perspective, like, even from the Doge perspective of Saturday Night Live, like, people are like, oh, as soon as he goes on Saturday Night Live, it's going to go to infinity. Like,
the opposite.
What did you expect him to do? Like manually sell to the audience? Like, what was he going to do to make it so, like, come buy some Doge? Here's like, what was he going to do to make it so
amazing? And it literally dropped instead, right? It was dropping the whole episode.
The whole episode.
Yeah. It was crazy, right?
I think it went down as far as 30% like, during the course of
I
that
was
night.
just staring at the fucking the market, and I was like, oh my god.
The common phrase in crypto and investing in general is you buy the rumor and sell the news.
Sell the news.
Yeah, so like,
oh, dude, that was the most popular quote that night.
Right?
Like, everyone was saying that.
Bro.
You
I was like,
buy
dude.
the hype because everyone's like, oh, it's going to go up so much, and everyone's super hyped. And then the event really doesn't always live up to the hype, right? Like,
It usually never does.
never
to be
does,
honest.
right? Because you have weeks to develop that hype and bring it up to that mountaintop, and then
Yeah.
you take it down when you get to that day, because like, the hype is just so unrealistic. Like, what was he really going to do? Right?
Everyone was saying Doge to $1, Doge to $1, Doge to $1, Doge to $1. So that was the goal, right?
That's the thing. You got to look at market cap too when you're looking at these currencies. So, like, let's say I invent a token and it's worth whatever. It's got 1 trillion total supply, right? Let's say we make a token, it's 1 trillion total supply. I say it's going to go to $1. That means that asset is going to be worth $1 trillion. Like, at Bitcoin took almost a decade to get to $1 trillion, and it's the top coin by market cap. So you mean to tell me that this token is going to succeed Bitcoin in some way? Like, what? Why? Like, why would you even think that, right? So the things that I look at when I'm looking at these quote unquote like coins that are useless, right? I would be looking at the market cap and the circulating supply, right? If there's 1 trillion, it's not gonna hit a cent. It's not gonna hit $1 unless it's like otherwise amazing or provide some sort of use, right? And even then, like, it may take 8 years to get to that point. You think of a coin like XRP, which is actually one of the top coins, right?
I love XRP.
Well, I hate it. Like, I own zero.
Oh shit.
The reason why I own zero is because 45% of it is in circulating supply right now. So only less than half of it
Damn.
is is available for purchase right now.
This guy, you just broke his heart, bro.
Less than half of it.
This guy loves
I'm gonna have to like
XRP.
leave right now.
Yeah,
straight
I
up.
mean, like when you think about these things and you investigate them further, like less than half of it. Like, and the developers, I believe it's the developers that own the remaining 55%. There's common problems in that market where whenever it goes up, he just sells off a chunk and he's like, I'll take some profits, right? So
yeah, that makes sense. Looks like he's doing that. Yeah,
it is viable. Like you can send XRP and that's one of those tokens for like less than a cent. I can send it to you and it's ultimately there very quickly, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But until like he loses control of that 55% or the developers lose control of that 55%, like you can't get that coin to go to $10 or whatever these predictions are for it. It's just not viable. It's not possible.
Okay, so I want to ask you about Ethereum because I feel like Ethereum has really in this bull run has really been like the most talked about. It's seen some amazing gains. Obviously, Bitcoin is always there, right? But I think Ethereum has really grown over the last 6 months. So what are your thoughts on Ethereum?
So that one is like my baby. That's my favorite one. That's like 60% of my portfolio. I absolutely love and adore Ethereum, mostly because there's just unprecedented development on that token. There's so much development. There's so much that's done on that token. I truly believe in the team. They have so an ERC20 token is kind of similar how we were talking about those pancake swap or whatever.
Yes.
An ERC20 token just literally means a token built on the Ethereum network. So any token that's built on the Ethereum network is referred to as an ERC20 token. Okay. If you look at the top 15 coins by market cap right now, there are like 3 of them. Like, so 3 of the top valuable coins are built on Ethereum network. Wow. So not Ethereum. Like, let's throw Ethereum out the window. Yeah. 3 of the top 15 most valuable tokens are on Ethereum's network. Yeah. So it's like, right? It's like the way I describe Ethereum is it's almost like the Microsoft of cryptocurrencies. It'd be like having an Xbox, right? Yeah. You can buy all these games, but you need the Xbox to play, right? Yeah. Cool. So if I want to send you a token, let's take Uniswap. So Uniswap is basically the PancakeSwap equivalent of Ethereum. Yeah. So it would be like it would be the same, a decentralized exchange for currencies. You can't use fiat currency. So Uniswap, I don't know where it's sitting right now, somewhere around 8, 9, 10, but it is a multi-billion-dollar asset. I believe it's above 10 billion at this moment of recording, and it's built on the network. So if I want to send you an Ethereum token, for example, Uniswap, costs me about, it varies, right, based on how congested the network is. It costs me about $15 to send it to you, USD, right? So I'm paying in Ethereum. I need Ethereum to send you that token, and if I value that token, and if I want to transact in that token, and if I want to hold that token, it's going to cost me Ethereum at some point to get that token or to transact in that token, right? Yeah. So that's why the use case for Ethereum, like we could go on for 3 hours about why Ethereum is so special and why it's so amazing. I mean, we have stable currencies built on both Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, but all of these things were originally built on Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain is literally just a copy paste of the Ethereum code, right? Yeah. So they're both good in their own way, but I much prefer Ethereum because there's much more development from many more different teams. Like even the token I mentioned before, Labs, is built on the Ethereum network. It's an ERC20 token, right? If you look on whether it be CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap and you click on any individual token, it'll actually tell you what networks it's built on, right? It'll have it'll have the smart contract address. So the smart contract address is basically like the coded version of that token. So let's say you want to go buy it on PancakeSwap or Uniswap, you need that smart contract address. You can't type in like, I want to buy Refinable. You have to get that smart contract address. It's basically the code version of that token's name, right? So when you think about things like that, you also think about gas, right? So that's an interesting concept because everything costs gas fees in crypto. Yes. And the way that I'll explain it is kind of like getting on a boat, right? Like let's say we all 3 of us want to get on a boat, right? The average cost for that boat is $7 US. You pay $3 and you're hoping to get on that boat. You may not get on, right? There may be many boats that go on before you get on that boat, right? Yes. So you're paying the gas fee. You want to cheap out on the gas fee. You may wait a long time, and you may actually have your transaction dropped, right? Yeah. Your transaction may drop, and they basically say, we've taken your gas fee. You didn't pay enough. Too bad. Here's back your money, but you're never getting that gas fee back. So that's the risk of paying a low gas fee, right? The other thing is that you can pay a high gas fee. Like let's say you want to pay $100, even though the average gas fee is $7. You're guaranteed to get on that boat, right? You're 100% going on that boat. It's going to leave with your transaction and it's going to go where you want it to go, right? Yes. I pay the average of $7. I'm still probably going to go on that boat unless we get a whole bunch of you guys paying $100 and kicking me off that boat. Interesting. So that's way.
How do you really know when to go more on the gas fee?
It depends. If it's an
Yeah.
urgent
How bad is
transaction,
it? How
like do you
badly
really
you
need that money in,
Yeah.
or do you like let's say for example, when you're doing a swap on Uniswap swap or Pancake Swap, you're paying a gas fee, right? So the gas fees are more expensive for a swap because you're paying for a smart contract, right? You're
Yeah.
paying for basically your Ethereum or whatever to be sent to X address in exchange for this and like swap through a router, right? So it's more expensive, more steps involved. Sometimes the gas fees can be as much as $200 for a Uniswap swap, right? Like it's a lot.
We bought a coin.
Did we?
Wilder, and that cost us like almost $100 in fucking gas fee. Yeah,
Probably on
and
Uniswap, right?
Uniswap, yeah.
You can
that was the
actually
day it launched, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I try to steer clear of buying things on launch day because
Yeah.
what will happen is everybody tries to buy it on launch day.
Yeah.
It artificially like zooms the price up and then it dumps a little while after that, right?
So we're experiencing right now.
Yeah, that happened to me on Refinable. I bought it at like $10 originally, and I just kept dollar cost averaging down. Like I bought it at 10, and then it dropped to 5. I'm like, okay, I'll buy more. Dollar cost average down. Kept dollar cost averaging down until I was finally at a profit and sold off some of my stash. But like buying, it was a hard lesson learned because I lost a significant amount of money. I'm like, hey, I cannot buy these ICOs, or as they call it, the initial offering anymore, because everybody's trying to buy it, right? And if you think about that one, there was 214,000 people in the Telegram chat that I was competing with to buy it, right? So they drove the price up, and a lot of these people don't even know anything, right? Like
they're just buying it because they're told
like they
to buy
saw
it.
Mr. Beast is on it, and they're like, my kid loves Mr. Beast, right? So they just buy it. And I'm like, right?
I have a question actually. I think a lot of our audience would take a lot from this. Is how do you research the coins? When you find something that maybe you don't even find it yet, maybe what kind of research do you do to find something that you might be interested in? And then once you do, what kind of research are you doing after that?
So a lot of times, like if I discover a brand new token and I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool, like I like it, I'll be like, whether I'm in like a Discord for like early crypto gems or like a Telegram or something, right? And people talk about these things, right? And then I go do my own research. I start Googling it. You can watch any YouTube video where they'll tell you, okay, this is what the token does, and this is the team behind it, or this is what we know about the token, and this is why we hope it's going to succeed, right? So you take with that a grain of salt, right? Because sometimes these people are paid to advertise this, or sometimes they're holding a large stash of these tokens, right? So like you can hop on and make your own token, and as we said, you could pay someone, an influencer, $5,000, and they'll pump your token. They'll say it's going to go to the moon, it's the next best thing, like, you know what I mean? Everyone's going to be rich for a couple $1,000, right? So you got to take with it a grain of salt. What I like to ask myself is, does this solve a real world problem? Like, does this solve a problem that exists that nobody has otherwise solved, or does this optimize something that like we're already not doing at our full capacity as a society, right? So for example, Ethereum optimizes a lot of different ways that we're doing things. Visa and MasterCard are looking at settling transactions on the Ethereum network, right? So PayPal recently started accepting Ethereum and Bitcoin in Q1 of 2021, right, for transactions, right? So does it solve a real world problem that previously existed, or does it fix something, or does it optimize? So for example, Refinable, it optimizes the problem, right? The problem with NFTs on Ethereum network, too expensive. Okay, it optimizes the problem. Once it gains traction, I'm hoping it goes up. Maybe it doesn't go up, but that's the risk that we take, right? I like to look at the circulating supply. Like if the circulating supply is uncapped, that's usually a major red flag for me. I'm like, why is it uncapped? Sometimes there's a very good reason, right? Sometimes it's like, oh, it's uncapped, but we only mint like 1% a year, like and it's built into the smart contract, right? So sometimes there's a very good reason for it why it's uncapped, but those are typically the type of things I'm looking into. Okay. I'm looking at the market capitalization and if it's a realistic venture, right? So like, let's go back to the example again. We have 100,000 tokens, right? Yeah. If I see that token's at $1, do I think it get to $5? If it gets to $5, that's now a $500,000 market cap evaluation. It's pretty fair. There are many $500,000 projects, right? Yeah. If it's at $1 and they're saying it's going to go to 2,000, that's probably not so fair of an evaluation, right? So when somebody tells you and they go to you and I try and pitch a token to you, it's very easy to calculate. If I try and pitch you a token at $3, and then you're trying to buy that token, just look at how many are ever going to be available, multiply that by $3, see if you think there's room for growth in that token. If there's not, then don't invest in it. Yeah. My genuine advice though is don't go for those tokens on the BSC network unless they're backed by like a real team, unless they're backed by somebody who really, and there's really solid, and the smart contract can be audited. There are actually companies that audit the smart contract and basically like, this is probably a scam or this is not probably a scam, right? Yeah. So once it's been audited and once it's a real team and you look at it, you can say, all right, like I feel confident, I'll put my money in it. But like, I don't think crypto is the type of space where if you're looking for that 1,000% game, just like go to the casino, right? Like like go put it on the roulette wheel. Good luck,
I think everyone just sees like all the news and stuff that's happened over time, and they're looking back and they're like, fuck, I wish I bought Bitcoin when it was $3. Like, I'm so stupid. And like, now I got to buy one now because that's the next Bitcoin. Like, I don't want to miss out again, right? So I think that just the history itself is causing people to be like anxious about it. Like, no, I have to do something. I have to just buy one of them here.
And
right?
I have this discussion with people all the time. I'm like, if you bought Ethereum in December, it would have been like 400, 500 USD, right? And people are like, oh no, like I wish I got it at 500. I'm like, dude, if you bought it in like January, it would have been 1300. If you bought it in February, it would like
it's still happening.
It's like you won't take these gains. It's up like 7x since December. Like, what are you complaining about?
They're just comparing
like,
it to like the things they see online, right? Like the guy who put $100 and now he's a millionaire at the age of
I wish I knew 12. The lottery winning numbers yesterday, but I didn't.
So what's the I think we all do.
Yeah,
what's your price prediction for Ethereum this year?
my price prediction was already very conservative. I'm like, if we hit 4,500, I'm happy, because I was like, I had a bunch that I bought at like about $300, $400, $500, right? I was very happy about that, and I was like, you know what, like if we hit 4,500, I'll be happy. A lot of the aggressive price predictions are around 10,000 by the end of this bull run. A lot, like right now we just had a pretty sufferable dip. It was like 20-30%, right? So
I'm buying in now.
Can you explain what a bull run is to anyone that might not know?
Okay, so bull run is basically essentially just a continual period of market growth, right? And it's all relative, right? So what sparked the previous bull run is Bitcoin has a halving event, where basically the rewards for mining Bitcoin are cut in half.
Okay.
So every time that the rewards for mining Bitcoin are cut in half, the crypto market kind of goes on a bull run, which happened in, I think it was April of 2020. So since then, we've kind of seen unprecedented growth, which obviously with the pandemic, like kind of every asset took a hit. Like people are selling stuff off to kind of get cash so they can pay for things, right? But if you think about like the crypto market, I think we're sitting at like $2.4 trillion right now or something.
Wow,
I have no idea what it is, somewhere around 2 trillion, whatever. Like it changes obviously rapidly because every coin goes up, every coin goes down. And you think about the amount of money that the US just pumped into their economy, right? Like $1.9 trillion, right? So you think about that from that perspective, almost an entire new crypto market worth of money was just pumped in there. And you think, okay, so there's only ever going to be a certain amount of Bitcoin. There's only ever going to be a certain amount of Ethereum, right? So relative to the US dollar or to any dollar, presumably it should go up if it continues to see growth in that space as well, right? So relative to USD, we're not going to have any more. We're not creating any more crypto, right? There's only going to be that certain amount of Bitcoin. There's only going to be that certain amount of Ethereum or whatever, Cardano, whatever it may be, right? And you think, how many people do you know that own crypto? If you ask me in September, I'd say maybe like 10%. Maybe that'd be generous, 1 of 10, right? You ask me today, maybe 3 of 10, right? You ask me in 5 years, probably 6, 7 of 10. So it's only a finite resource. There's only going to be this amount of crypto. It's not going to make more. And people continue getting into the space. People keep continuing to pump money in there, right? So I mean, like, it doesn't really take a genius to figure that these things are going to go up, right? Like, more money
timing, right?
in a finite space, right? Like, you have 3 things that can change. You can change the amount that's available when the money is being pumped in, but you can't change that. It's fixed, right? It's hard coded into these programs, right? So the only thing that can go up is the price, right? And obviously that's I'm simplifying these things, but it's my opinion, and I invite anyone else to like dispute that opinion, but I just think it's reasonable to think that as more people get into the space and these finite resources, like it's like gold, right?
Yeah,
like,
I was about to say,
there's not going to be more gold, but gold is like useful. We make beautiful things with it. We melt it down, or we use it to conduct, right? Or people even use it as a store of value, right? Let's say I don't believe in my economy, I'm going to just buy gold and hold gold or silver or like these things, right? So it's kind of the same idea. It's almost like a hedge against inflation, where if you think that like you're devaluing your own currency, or your country's devaluing their currency, like for example, like places in, I don't want to misspeak here, but I think it's Venezuela, where most of their transactions peer-to-peer are done in Bitcoin or in crypto, right? They're basically saying our own currency isn't so valuable or isn't so useful, so let's just use something else, right? So
Venezuela's full communist, no?
Yeah, they're a crazy communist country. Wow. So I think, it makes sense that the people there
are like, screw their money, I'm going to do my own shit here.
Makes sense, right? Like I would like, it makes me nervous, like when I see that the Treasury has made $1.9 trillion. I'm like, that makes me nervous, because the stocks are continuing to go up, and we're seeing like the stocks are in a bull run too. Like stocks have been increasing tremendously in the face of a pandemic, where realistically there's not much economic things happening, right? Like what are we doing these days? I'm not going anywhere, I'm not spending much money, right? So it makes me nervous in general, but it is what it is. And I've made the decision. I'm like, I'm going to invest in this, and I'm going to invest a significant portion of my income and my savings into this. And I've been successful so far. That's not to say I'm going to continue to be successful, but I'd rather take the risk of like, if I sell off and I see Ethereum go to 10,000, 20,000, I'm going to be like, well, like I had an opportunity to generate like generational wealth for myself, my family, my future like offspring, like, and I was just like, yeah, I'll sell it like whatever off a whim, right?
Yeah. So I think that's the thing. That's the opportunity is kind of like limitless in that sense, right? Where the kind of return you may see from crypto is unheard of anywhere else in terms of investment. Like you said, you can go to the fucking casino, sure. Yeah. But other than that, like
who's going to give you 7x? Like, traditionally, like if I want to be less risky with my money, I'll put in the S&P 500, which average since its inception is like 9% growth, right? So that's okay. And that's cool. I'm not like advocating like put all your money in crypto and you're going to be rich, right? Like I have a lot of money in the S&P 500 too, because like I'm perfectly cool to take 9% a year. And like, it's obviously it's not the amount of money you're going to be making in crypto in the recent like bull run, right? But like 9% a year is a lot of money. Like, what are you going to give me if I put in RBC or Scotiabank or whatever? Like, what are you going to give me like 0.5% a year? Like,
0.5,
like what? It's like, what am I going to? Now you're going to print 1.9 trillion, and I'm going to get 0.5% a year. I'm not even beating inflation. Like, what am I doing?
So now, with all that being said, with the current bull run and where we're at, everyone's trying to predict the end of it.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
Everybody. Like, fucking go on TikTok. One guy's saying September. One guy's saying this could run till 2022.
There's no two guys saying the same shit.
No, everyone, I mean, whatever. A couple guys. But everyone kind of has their own opinion on it. I'm curious to hear yours and how long you think this bull run can continue for crypto.
My genuine opinion is it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't. Because if you think that the price is going to be more than when you bought, if you truly believe, and if you find a way to like research it enough and convince yourself and believe in the fact that this is going to go up long term, then who cares when it ends? Because there'll be another one, right? Like, eventually it'll go up again, right? Let's say maybe, I don't know, Visa decides, you know what, all of our transactions are going to be on whatever, on Ethereum's blockchain. Like, it's obviously like things can happen throughout the year. It's not like the bull run is over and we will just never go up again, right? So I don't care. It could end in September. It could end tomorrow. It could have ended today, right? We had a 30% dip. I really genuinely don't care. If I'm buying a crypto asset, I feel comfortable with the fact that I've made the decision to buy this asset. I'm not day trading it because I don't have time to sit in front of my computer and watch charts all day, like to make whatever, like 4% a trade.
Telegram groups too.
Like I don't have time for stuff like that. But if I make a decision to buy it, I've made the decision to buy it, and if it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. I'm confident enough to not care. Like, and I get it because when I was new and I would see like my portfolio, like there were days where I saw 30% dip in one day, and I'm like, or 48 hours ish, right? And I'm like, holy, like this is the end of me. Like I'm never gonna financially recover, right? You know that meme, right? It's over. I'm screwed, right? And like that's the first time it happens to you. The second time it happens to you, you're like, wow, this is like pretty uncomfortable. Like I'm really not having a good time here, but this is all gains that I'm giving back, right? Like I'm up a ton. I'm up whatever, 70%. I gave back like 30% of that, whatever. Like I don't care, right? Happens this time. Like yesterday, I think over the past few days, I lost like 35%, 30%, 31%, whatever. Like a pretty decent amount. And I was like, I shrug my shoulders. I don't care. Like
you've seen it all before.
I really don't care. Like whatever. If I have fiat currency available to me right now, I'll buy the dip. Right. I genuinely, or if I'm happy with my holdings right now, I'll just leave it. Like I don't care. Like Ethereum would have to go and to like 300 for me to be at a loss, and even then I'd be like, well, I tried something, it didn't work. Whatever. Right. It would have to be very bad for me.
Okay, now I'm curious. This is just for me, just because I'm fucking curious. You know. I've done a little bit of research in projects that I like. VChain is one of the ones that I like.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about it? Or?
Yeah, I like VChain. I do own VChain. I got it at, I think it was like 0.39, so a little bit less than 4 cents. Basically.
I bought it like 10, bro.
You're still up. It's like 17 as we speak, right?
I'm like, fuck, that's crazy. Sorry, go ahead,
The long and short of VChain is, it was, I think it was Louis Vuitton. It was like the chief data analyst or whatever from one of those companies, one of those very, very prestigious companies left and created this currency. And it kind of tracks like inventory in a sense, and it's being picked up in China especially to basically it's got a real world functionality where it can track the history of these sorts of inventory and say, okay, it came from X warehouse and this happened, or if you have a defaulting a project that's faulty or whatever, or sorry, a device or an object or a utility that's faulty, then VChain will detect these things. And they actually have their own gas currency, right? So as you hold VChain, you're paid out in VTHO or VTHO or whatever, and you use that to transact in that currency. currency. So whether it be staking that currency for rewards or whether that be sending it to each other peer to peer, I do believe in the project. I like VChain a lot. I mean, it's one of those, like, that's another example, right? You buy it at 10 cents, you buy it at 0.39. Right now it's at 17 cents. It's got to have like 40% of its value erased for you to be at a loss, right? Like, who cares? It was at 21 or 22 recently. Now it's at 17. What do you care? What do you care? You're still up 7%. Like, or sorry, you're still up 7 cents on each unit. So there's really not all that much to.
I gotta ask you about SafeMoon. Because I gotta ask because, okay, based on everything you've said now, okay, I don't really know about utility, but there is tokenomics to SafeMoon, isn't there?
Yeah, and there's also like I'll be honest with you, I haven't researched it extensively, but I know that a lot of the Binance Smart Chain project, they have built-in stuff coded into the smart contract that the token exists on, where any movement of the token from one wallet to another, so for example selling, takes like 30% off the top. There are some tokens that are taxed like that. So basically
they're just 20%.
So SafeMoon, they do 20 I think, and then 10% gets redistributed to shareholders.
So that's actually fairly significant, right? Because if you buy $100 worth, you need to see it go up to like 135 or something, right? Or somewhere around there to see a profit, right? So you need to see a 35% gain on your investment just because of the tax to sell off. So it's almost like, if you really do think about it, it's almost kind of like a pyramid scheme, right? Because you're forced to buy it and hold it, and you look at the value of it in your wallet, you're like, oh great, it's going up, like I'm making money. But are you actually making that much money? Because for every dollar you make, you're giving 20 cents back, right? Because it's 20% taxed in terms of the smart contract. So that's why I don't play around with these things, right? Like, it's like, some of them are taxed as much as like 40%. They're like, though they're anti-whale. I'm like, yeah, it's great, it's anti-whale, but no matter how much I invest, I'm still paying that tax too.
I gotta go way up until I make a profit.
Right. So like, like anything that's gonna tax you when you try and sell it, like. Like, that's the whole point of cryptocurrency. You don't have to deal with these types of stupidity, right? You know, like, it's just I don't know. I don't play around with those tokens because, like, I don't see a long-term future in them. I don't see any.
You're gonna have to delete all your tweets
again.
You're gonna have to delete all.
I'm still gonna believe it. I'm still believing here.
I mean, it very well may go up. Like, it can go up, and it has been going up and showing unprecedented gains. Like, it's very.
I try to follow even like you said, the development, what they're doing, quarter to quarter. Based on what I'm seeing compared to other shit coins, they kind of look like they have their shit together at least.
They're definitely like, they would be the pinnacle of like this type of a coin. Like, they would be, exactly. They'd be like the pinnacle.
Someone's got to just start tweeting about it and
Dave Portnoy yesterday.
Dave Portnoy did it up.
He said put the hat on. He chose them, and now he's gonna fucking start. He's gonna start pushing it.
Yeah, we know a lot of day traders in crypto. That's a totally different ball game, though. I mean, like you said, you're there, you're sitting in front of the computer, waiting for it to go up, selling, wait for the dip, buy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't deal with that type of thing. I just feel like a lot of day trading, and like not to speak poorly of day trading, I feel like a lot of day traders are gonna tell you about their wins, but not their losses, right? It's very easy. It's easy for me to come to you and say I made 20 grand like last night, right? Yeah, but they're not gonna tell you they lost.
When
60,
they stop talking about it, then you know something happened.
It's like, oh, how's day trading going? Oh, well, you know, like, it's up, it's down. Where's that? You're down, money, okay?
Or where's that coin you were talking about 2 weeks ago? You're not pumping it anymore.
How's that coin? So are you in the stock market at all? I know you said the S&P 500. Like, have you? Were you in it before and kind of made a switch, or have you?
To be honest with you, I started in crypto. So like the stock market, like if I lose 3% in a day, I laugh at it. I'm like, oh, 3%, like that's like a Sunday afternoon for me, right? Like, it's like whatever. Like, so I don't care. Like I'll buy stuff. Like, in the stock market, most of my money is in the S&P 500. Like, any amount of money in my Quest trade is in the S&P 500. Any significant sum, or like some sort of an ETF that I believe in, like whether it be like one that's restaurants, right? Because restaurants and stuff, they're suffering right now. So I like those entertainment ETFs. Because like eventually we will have a world that like people eat at restaurants again, right? And I'm okay to wait that out. I don't need that money right now, right? Eventually these things will grow again. Sometimes I'll just buy stuff because I like it. Like, I literally bought the keg because I love going to the keg. But like no significant amount of money, right? Like I like, it is what it is, right? So mostly I stick to conservative investing in terms of the stock market, because I feel like crypto is pretty risky in and of itself. Volatile, so I'm like, I'll stick to risk areas there.
And you said you're a teacher full time?
Yes.
Okay. Elementary school.
Yeah. So I teach like grades 4 to 8.
Teaching them about crypto yet, or what?
That was my question. Has it ever like risen up in a conversation, or?
No, because no. I just feel like no.
Might be a risky. Conversation.
Might be possibly find myself in some trouble for that one.
Why is my 13-year-old?
Was my 13-year-old trying to buy Ethereum? Why does he have your referral link?
Let's talk about, because it is very volatile, very risky at times, right? And we spoke about a little bit about this before we went on. The securities, different type of security, different tiers of security. Very valuable for anyone getting into crypto right now, because you want to keep your stuff secured for sure. So definitely talk to us about that.
So this is probably one of the most important things that you'll hear throughout the entire podcast today, because you want to keep your money safe. And ultimately, let's say you take my phone and you e-transfer yourself $1,000. I go to the bank and I say, hey, like this was super not chill. Like a buddy of mine did this. Like, can you give me this money back? They'll put you through like maybe a 2 to 3 day process, maybe even same day. They'll get it back, right? They can get it back, right? Let's say I have an account on Binance or ShakePay or whatever it may be using, and I'm at a party, I'm intoxicated, I leave my phone open, somebody takes my phone and they send it off, right? They send off Ethereum to their address. There's not a thing that anybody can do about it, right? Once it's written on the blockchain, it's not like there's somebody who like controls the blockchain. You can just send an email and be like, hey, dude,
customer service blockchain.
Please give me my money back. Like email like Vitalik, the guy who made Ethereum, like, hey, is there any chance you can reverse this? And he's gonna be like, who are you?
If he even looks at it.
So that would be the first tier of security, is leaving the money on the exchange, which is the benefit of this is you can sell out as soon as you want. Like there's no real deficit. Like you can sell out as soon as you want. There's no time for transaction that you have to wait, but obviously the deficit is very low tier security. You can enable two-factor authentication, but if they get access to your phone, they have access to your email, it's pretty much over for you, right? Then you can have a software wallet, which is basically you download an application on your phone, whether it be Trust Wallet, MetaMask, there are a bunch of others. There's one called Edge that was the first one I ever used. They'll have a variety of security features, whether it be fingerprint, and then they'll have like pins and stuff like that to authorize these transactions sent out, right? Somebody has malware on your phone, you get hacked on your phone or whatever, like they can probably take all this money as well. It's a little bit harder than if you leave it on the exchange, but it's still ultimately pretty easy, right? The third tier of security is essentially impossible for anyone to hack, and it's called it's a hardware wallet. So you can buy one of these things for like $70, $80, $100. Like they're relatively cheap. The one that I use is called the SafePal. But the way that these essentially function is, imagine it as a physical rock, right? So you can send money to this rock, and imagine an Excel sheet, right? An Excel sheet kind of keeps track of your balances. The rock doesn't know anything. It's just a rock, right? But the blockchain knows that 10,000 was sent into this rock, and it knows 5,000 was sent out of this rock. Right?
So just keeping the balance.
Yeah, it just keeps a balance. So therefore you can check on your phone, computer, whatever you use to access it, and you can say, this is the balance because this is my address, and there's 10 sent in, 5 sent out. I now know that there's 5 left, right? Because of the fact that this is my address, and the blockchain is public access to anybody. Nobody knows this is your address except for you, right? Just a random string of numbers and characters like 0x blah 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 blah, right? So that would be the highest tier of security, because it never touches the internet. So the way that mine personally functions is it's called air gapping, where basically my phone, if I want to send you a transaction, let's say I want to send you 1 Ethereum, my phone will display. You can if you want, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. When we're done here, no problem. I actually couldn't because I don't have my device with me. So even if I wanted to, I could not. But the way that it works is my phone will display a QR code, which I will then use the device. Actually, it looks like a little Game Boy. It's got a camera.
Nice.
And it will scan the QR code using its camera. So that signs it from that end. It's signed from the end of the device. And then I will use my phone to scan a QR code displayed by the device. Then it's two-way signed. So it's air gapping, right? It never touches the internet because anyone can generate a QR code. You don't need the internet for that. Then you click the transaction. You enter your PIN code to approve the transaction, and then it's done, right?
Wow.
Without the physical wallet with you, you can't do any transactions. Like, it's impossible, right? So if somebody takes my phone, they can have all the fun they want with it. There's nothing that they can do, right? Say you smash the wallet, right? Let's say for whatever reason your house burns down, God forbid, right? I don't know, somebody breaks into your house, you have a safe, the wallet's gone, you can't access it anymore. The way that it's recovered is there's this thing called a private seed phrase. So any wallet, any crypto wallet has a seed phrase. It's a string of, you would actually choose 12, 18 or 24 random words. So it'll be like water, bus, laptop, whatever, right? You would use that private seed phrase to recover it. So that's something that you would want to keep very safe, right? You would want to keep it off the internet. You'd want to write it down maybe several times, put it somewhere safe where you know you're going to be able to recover it. Leave it with somebody that you trust in the event of, unfortunately, like an untimely demise, right? Because otherwise that money's like gone forever. It's like too secure, right? So that would be my recommendation. And at first I was like, I'm a pretty cheap and frugal guy. I'm like, I don't want to buy this stupid thing. Like, what do I have to worry about, right? Like nobody's gonna get my phone. I'm pretty secure, right? I got all my passwords in check. And then one of my buddies basically said, you know what? You'd have to be an idiot to not spend $70 to protect however much money,
whatever
right?
it might be,
So if you think about it from that perspective, right? Like, how stupid
Yeah.
am I to not spend $70 to protect however many thousands or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, so the hardware wallet, I would say it depends. Like, if it's an amount of money that you can afford to just leave on your desk and at home and hope nobody takes it, then sure, don't get a hardware wallet, right? If you're
don't cry later.
Yeah, don't cry later, right? But if you're sitting there and you got, like, I don't know, you got 3 months worth of pay invested in cryptocurrencies, you can get a hardware wallet, because that would suck if somebody took it from you.
From the wallet, you can always go back and put it on the exchange. And
so from the wallet, like the same way that you would send it to the wallet. So basically you would purchase on the exchange, immediately send it to your hardware wallet. And then if you want to sell off, you would just send it to the exchange, and you would, that's it. You send it to the exchange and you sell it off.
From your phone, you can see like how much you have in your wallet.
Yeah, you can pull it up on your phone. Some of them are desktop oriented, so some of them will be on your computer and some of them will be on your phone. Okay. But you can check your public wallet address like from anywhere. Like you can literally, can pull up a phone right now or your computer. You can go on etherscan.io or bscscan.com. And these are that. Etherscan is for Ethereum, BSC scan is for Binance. Yeah. And if you enter somebody's address, it'll tell you the value of their Ethereum. It'll tell you how many different Ethereum tokens they have. It'll tell you all of their transactions, like a full comprehensive list of all the transactions in and out of that wallet, right? So that's why a lot of people get worried, right?
Because you can find someone else's wallet pretty much, right? If you guess the code.
Yeah, well, you can't get access to any of their money, but like let's say
see what they have.
Yeah, like let's say I give you my wallet address, you can go look in and see what I'm doing. Like you'd be like, hey, why'd you move 30 grand to here? And I'd be like, I don't know. Like I don't have a good answer for that, right? Like it's not a business,
you asking me that.
Yeah. So that's like if you want to keep it close to the vest and you want to say I don't want anybody knowing what I have or what I don't have, then you don't share that with anybody.
We should probably get one of those.
Yeah, for real.
I would highly recommend it.
We should probably get one of those.
Dean, how much fucking Dogecoin did you have?
Oh my God, Dean.
So I had $2,000 at 4 cents.
Oh.
It started to slip to 3 cents. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing buying Dogecoin and losing whatever it was at the time?
Oh my God.
I set up a limit overnight to sell once it was to like basically the break even point. It broke even overnight. I sold it all. And then here we are like a month later. It's fucking like 60 cents or 50 cents today. This could have been my podcast. You guys were recording me. And it's sour. But you know what? I mean, that's the way it is with crypto. It's like you could do your research all day, but Dogecoin, nobody's going to be able to tell me what's going to happen in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It could have went to 0.04 cents with my $2,000, right? And I would have lost it all. So I'm sour, but I'm not as sour as I could be. Like,
don't be sour. It's
that type of thing, it hurts, right? But like, I would sleep well knowing that ultimately I made the right decision, right? Because you invested in something that was like a joke, right? If that joke went to zero, you'd be like, I'm a joke.
I'm a joke now.
But it now went to 60%, and obviously hindsight's 20/20. You're like, oh no, right? But like, you made the right call. Like, I wouldn't lose any sleep over that one. I own Doge too at like 6 or 7 cents, right? But I actually sold off when it went down 10%. I'm like, I don't even understand what I'm doing with this. So like, I would, if I were to give someone advice, the advice would be don't do what I did, right? So and here I am doing it. And I ultimately accidentally made money off that transaction because the wallet that I use was running a promo. And you can do swaps inside of your hardware wallet. So I actually somehow accidentally made money because the wallet gave me 250 SafePal tokens for doing that swap.
That's crazy.
Which translated to like 1,200 USD.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, this was best trade deal ever. Like the best trade deal ever.
I love Doge.
Oh, this is tremendous. But what was I going to say? Another tip that I had is usually all cryptocurrency, you kind of refer to them in USD. The reason being is because USD is like the huge benchmarks, right? So like if somebody tells me, I would never be able to tell you what the CAD value of Ethereum is right now. Couldn't tell you. I could tell you what it is in USD and what it's been trading
always
at.
in USD.
Always in USD because that's where the important like benchmarks are and psychological benchmarks, right? Because like nobody in China, they don't care what it, like if it hits 3,000 CAD, right? Like they don't care, right?
Like what the fuck is CAD?
Yeah, Venezuela, like what do they care about like 70,000 CAD in Bitcoin, right? Like what like across the world. The USD is the primary currency that people are measuring things by,
so
right?
when you're tracking, just measure in USD.
I typically measure in USD because like that way you can keep track of important benchmarks, right? Like let's say you want Ethereum to break 3,000, which it did recently. Yeah. You're looking at 3,000 USD. You're not looking, because those are psychological barriers, right? Yeah. It's basically like, oh, I want to get in before 3K, or I want to get in before 4K. You're not looking at like, oh, I got to get in before 4K Canadian, which translates to like 2,700 USD or whatever it is, right? 3,300.
That's true.
Okay, so if you don't mind, and you can just do it by percentages. What are you holding? I know you said Ethereum is
I genuinely, like, some of them I don't even, I know that my most significant holdings right now are, in order would be Ethereum, and then Binance token, and then Bitcoin, and then a lot of DOT, and then Uniswap and Chainlink. Like, those are the only ones that I know for certain I have significant holdings in. Like, I know I have holdings in other ones, like Refinable, or like I have holdings in VChain. I'm trying to think. I know I bought something at Solana. I bought some Solana yesterday. But I know that my most significant holdings,
your big boys
like the largest one by miles has to be Ethereum. It's like, depending on the value of Ethereum, it's anywhere between 55 and 60% of my portfolio.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I do still believe in all of these other projects, like tremendously. Like I definitely believe in Binance, only because they're like the largest exchange worldwide, right? So they got a lot of power behind them, and they got a lot of firepower, and they got guys like Mark Cuban are talking about things like Refinable, right? And he's mentioning their projects, and that's one project where Binance teases stuff. Like every once in a while, they'll be like, if you hold this token, we're gonna give you like whatever rewards, right? So they've been teasing one of those things with Refinable. They've been flirting with the idea. They'll be like, oh, who wants rewards for holding Refinable, right? They haven't announced anything official.
Twitter,
right?
They go nuts.
They tweet at it. They're like, who loves Refinable, right? So once you have the largest exchange in the world tweeting at these projects, it gets your attention. You're like, okay, like it's trading at $1.50 right now. Do I potentially think that Binance can use their influence to move it up? I very much do think so. And do I think that NFTs are the next big thing? Like I was browsing their marketplace yesterday. I'm like, man, some of this stuff is pretty cool. Like like 0.2 BNB, I could float that. Like I could buy this art for 0.2. And if you actually like scroll their site, they have some really cool stuff, right?
Wow.
So,
do you own any NFTs now?
No, only because I'm not a big art guy. Like but there were some where I was ready to click the button, like transfer.
But you're saying it's realistic for someone to just go on and start buying art.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at something and be like, wow, that's like really beautiful. I'd love to own that, or that's a really cool concept idea. Like there was one where it was like an actual full video of like an animation of like I think it was like a pig collecting like something, or like a cute little pig, and I was like, wow, like somebody would buy this. Like, it's like $6,000. There's only ever going to be one of them. Like somebody will buy this. If I had 6 BNB to just like drop on some sort of art piece, like I would. But like I'm not going to be spending. It's a lower return on investment, right? And I'm more about the return on investment, but. People will buy them. People will definitely buy them, especially at the lower cost, and people will make them, right? Because if you want to make an NFT on the Ethereum network, and I don't actually know how much it costs on OpenSea right now or whatever it is, I think it's around 100, because I know I tried to do it and I think it was like 90 USD. That's a huge barrier to entry, right? The average person can't risk 90 USD on something that may not even sell, right?
Exactly.
So on BSC, if it's going to cost you 20 cents and you can list it on that open marketplace, that's a lot better.
Market's going to grow very fast.
Reasonable, right? So as soon as like Binance lists that token, and all of a sudden you're going to see like 100% spike in value, right? Like all they have to do is put it available on their exchange, and you're going to see that value. Obviously, it's all speculation that they're going to list it, but I'm willing to take that shot, right?
Sure, 100%.
Fucking Gary V friends.
Yeah, he snapped with that.
Gary V's really going in right now.
Yeah, he created a whole like collection of NFTs, and obviously Gary V has he has his following and whatnot. So,
but he's doing he did his thing. He was talking about NFTs for probably 3-4 months before. Doing the classic influencer promo. Then all of a sudden he has a collection of NFTs.
And the other thing is like these people have loyalty, right? Like, so if like let's say for example like you guys have a good following, right? And if you guys start minting NFTs and people like love your stuff and they've learned a lot from your stuff and they really resonate with your brand, they're gonna buy your NFTs, right? Like they want to be a part of the project, and like so sometimes for people it's not even an investment in like I want to grow this money. It's more of an investment is I want to invest in these people or this person or this brand because I like this brand, right? And that's sometimes the nature of the business, right? For people, and
which is going on a lot right now with influencers too, with crypto as well, right? You see they go on, post something whether it's paid or not, but then goes right up. Jake Paul, all these
Jake
guys.
Paul and whatever, Logan Paul and the
Logan Paul, Jake Paul,
two
Pauls.
idiot twins.
All the Pauls.
Was I on mic when I said that?
Okay, so listen, we're the MBH podcast. Money buys happiness.
Yep.
We like to ask every guest, when you hear the term, what do you think?
money buys happiness.
Yeah.
Like, what do I think of your brand, or what do I think?
No, what do you think of the term?
Please don't demolish our brand.
I resonate with it. I mean, like,
Yeah.
in this world, there are very few things that you can do. There are very few things that you can do without money, right?
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like not so great from like a moralistic perspective,
Yeah.
but you're limited in the things that you can do without money, right? You want to eventually, the dream is you want to eventually own a home, you want to eventually own things, you want to go on beautiful, lavish vacations, right? So I resonate with it. I definitely agree with it, and I've heard that quote, and it's a horrible quote, but it's like I've never seen someone crying in a bathtub full of money or something, right? So
classic.
It's a very
Crying in
very
the Ferrari one.
horrible.
One,
It's a horrible quote, but I definitely resonate with it because there are few things in this world that you can do without money, right? You can't go out for those beautiful, nice steak dinners.
Yeah.
You can't do these things, right?
Yeah.
And I want these things for myself. I don't look down upon anybody who doesn't want these things for themselves.
Yeah.
But I want these things for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, we always say it's a tool. It's a tool,
Yeah.
and it's what you do with it, right? At the end of the day. So cool, man. No, I appreciate that. I was gonna say, where can people find you if they want to connect?
If anybody has additional questions, you can message me on Instagram. My @ has been the same, and it will stay the same until I die. It's @KingDicker, my last name.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you want to hit me up there, ask me some questions, and let me know what you think.
What a last name, I gotta say. What a fucking last
And,
name. What a
and
username.
I've had a ride from elementary school to even in university. I've had professors be like, "Dicker, is that real? Is that how you say it, Dicker?" And I'm like, "Yes, sir. That's how you say it, buddy."
Yep.
How is it teaching with the last name Mr. Dicker?
So actually, I'll be honest with you, I expected to get absolutely rinsed by these kids.
Yeah,
I'm like,
gonna
kids
say.
can be ruthless, and they're gonna give it to me. But I haven't heard a word. Like
Wow.
nobody.
Well, you're probably just a cool teacher, and
I'd like to think so. I'd like to hope so, but like
If you were like a
never once.
6-year-old going in there, I'm sure you would have got.
Yeah, I feel like I'd get a little bit roasted. I
Yeah.
get it, but I haven't heard a word about it, and I was pretty surprised because
Yeah.
I was fully expecting. I came in with my speech prepared. I'm like, yes, it's funny. I understand,
Yeah.
and I never had to give it. I was like, well,
Nice.
what a letdown. I was hoping to get roasted.
I
a
tried
little
to
bit.
go.
Mature young adults. Look
Yeah.
at this, man.
before leaving the podcast, just any final words for anybody in the crypto space looking to get into it already?
We definitely
in
want to
it?
have you back too because we want to see all these things come to fruition. We want to come back and sit down, talk about Ethereum.
Being
I'd
a
love
We're
to
gonna
be
talk
back.
about SafeMoon again. That's for sure.
We're gonna talk about SafeMoon. You're gonna sell it at a 20% tax.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy that.
But any final words for anybody in the space looking to get in, someone who's already in, whatever, the whole thing?
My best advice is invest for the long term if you believe in it. If you truly believe, invest for the long term, and don't try and make money overnight. Don't try and chase that 1000x overnight because you're gonna more often you're gonna lose than you're gonna hit. And anyone who tells you that they hit that 1000x, they probably missed 100 times, right? So it's better to buy projects that you believe in and hold them for the long term and see that sustained growth because you're still going to do better than your bank account. Mm-hmm. You're still likely going to do better than the S&P 500, right? So just go for that sustained growth over time, and that would be my best advice as opposed to going for that 1000x overnight.
Amazing.
Cool.
Appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. I really and I enjoy this too. This is great.
Shout
I love
out
this.
Cycle
Yeah,
Water.
shout out
Yeah.
Cycle Water, man, the team. Keeping us hydrated day in, day
Oh,
out.
not again.
It's always Cycle, baby.
Nobody even told me I get free water, and I'm here.
Water,
Free
man.
water. Let's
Free
go.
water.
You know, we
It's
do,
already
yeah.
a victory for today.
There we
So
go.
nice.
No, man. Again, we appreciate you coming out. It's been a pleasure. I fucking learned so much. I'm already so in deep, and I didn't even know half of the things you told me.
Secure your fucking crypto, people.
Yeah.
That's a good advice too. Yeah, get one of those hardware wallets. I'm not
We're about to
affiliated
do
with
that.
anybody. I don't care if you buy it or don't buy it. It's your money. Risk it
This
if you
guy's
want.
like a discount code for it. He's like, yeah, don't worry.
I'm not
I'm like-
affiliated, but hey, check the comment
I'm not,
section.
I'm not affiliated, but click this link.
Exactly.
No, man, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
All
And
right.
we'll have you back for sure.
Thanks,
Yep.
man. Appreciate it. I appreciate being here, guys. It's been fun.
Beauty. We're out.